This trailer's certainly seen better days. It's time to replace the deck boards. Stick around and let's learn together. In addition to replacing these boards, we're also going to add some tie-down clamp areas. They'll be the D-ring style that go inside the boards, so stick around for that. Now the first thing I need to do is remove these old boards. As you can see, these things are in really rough shape. I'm not sure what wood species they are, but they did not hold up well at all. They're only 4 or 5 years old. Now, true, I didn't put any finish on them, any protectant, but I was really surprised that they would rot out this fast. Of course, this hot, humid weather where I live did not help in. Now what you see here is me removing the back piece of metal that goes along the edge of the boards. Now these are held down with some type of screw that goes through the wood and into the metal frame. These are a T30 style Torx head, and what I did was I went out and got me a socket with a T30 tip on it and put it on my socket wrench to get it started. And that would loosen it up, and then I would follow up with the power drill with the same socket in it to finish it off. Now some of these came out cleanly and some broke, just as the boards that you see here are breaking as I take them off. Man, these were in bad shape. Once I got several boards off, I was able to step inside the frame so I could reach the ones closer to the metal, and just kept repeating the process. Now that screw right there is the front of the trailer. That's what holds the wood in along the front. That piece of metal doesn't come out. The wood just slides up underneath that lip. And I apologize for the bumpy camera shot there. Sorry about that. It was getting a bit late, so I decided to head over to my biggest blue box store and pick up a bunch of 2x8 by 16 foot. These were pressure treated, by the way. My dad stopped by to help out, and we started with a little housekeeping, taking care of some last-minute bolts, and then doing a little bit of corrosion control. Used an angle grinder to hit the high points with some rust, and also grind those bolts down, the ones that broke off in the supports. So it just took a few minutes to go through and do that. And my dad took a fine-tooth comb, or a wire brush in this case, and went through and did some last-minute cleanup. Then we took a much-needed break and decided better get back to work. So we took some Rust-Oleum type spray paint that will help with the corrosion. It was black to match the trailer, and we sprayed it. The next step was to measure exactly how long we need these boards. We purchased some 16 foot. They'll need to be something a little less than that. So we went through and we marked a couple of them so we could figure out where we need to cut them off. And once we got the first board cut, we took it and did a little test fit to see if it was what we wanted. We found it was just a little longer than we needed. We had to ensure the lip of the ramp and the back piece of metal that needed to go across there would fit. So trimmed off a little bit more and tested. And we believed that was going to be just about right. But just to make sure, we're going to take our ramp and put it on there and see how it looks.
Oh, yeah.
Once we confirmed that was the right length for our trailer, we proceeded to go through and cut a bunch of boards. And we took each one as we cut, and we tried putting it in place.
So it looks straight?
We're just trying to get the first one lined up so we have something to work with there. And then we went through and laid them all out, and here's the result of that. Once we had them all laid out, we decided to pull a couple back so we'd have some working room in there so we could reach up under there easily. And we start putting in some bolts. Now, we started with regular carriage bolts, and that makes the most sense probably for most people, but we had some trouble with drilling the holes and getting the carriage bolt to sit in there right without the head spinning on us. So we decided to go ahead and just use regular bolts. We did use nylon nuts, though, to make sure they didn't back out on us. These were 1/4-inch bolts we ended up using, actually. And at some point, we converted over to this Milescraft drill guide, and that helped make sure our drill holes were straight up and down, went in well. And I do recommend that if it's important that you have a good perpendicular hole that you're trying to drill. It helps out a lot, especially when you're going through the wood and then into metal. If you're off a little bit at an angle, sometimes it can be difficult to get that bolt in there, and you might affect the threads by trying to pound it through. Now, we still did use a little bit of persuasion here and there to get the bolt in, but it wasn't tearing up the threads and wasn't a major problem. Now, my dad went through and started marking where we were going to drill, and then I followed behind and drilled the holes. And then at some point, he started drilling some of these holes. And then we started getting a layout process here to where he would go ahead of me and start drilling holes, and I would follow back and put the bolts in. And that really got us cooking with gas there. Now, he worked a lot faster than me, so he was able to take a break while I continued working. And I conveniently left out the footage where I was sitting in the chair and he was working. Perhaps surprisingly, some of the lumber from a big box store is not perfectly straight, so I used my clamps either as a spreader or a clamp to get those in line.
We're halfway.
But through the magic of video editing, we're going to jump to the end of this process, and that's the last board going in.
I'll tell you what, that's about like it looked on the other one.
It is.
Yeah, it surely is.
And with the job well done, we packed it up for the night. When we came back, we finished up the work on the ends of the trailer.
I believe this thing's put back better than when you originally bought it.
Definitely.
I can't believe it with the little bit they had on there holding when you think about it.
Yeah, what he's talking about there is each board did not have bolts all the way down on each support on this trailer. That was a little surprising. We put one everywhere there was contact with the support. And on 2 places, we put 2 bolts across the board. The rest of the places, we just used 1. You can see that in this shot here. I drew the short straw and had to climb under the trailer for the last couple bolts so we could reach them to get those nuts on. That was it for the deck board replacement, so now we were ready to go figure out how we wanted to put on those D-rings. So we pulled one of the things that we're going to haul onto the trailer so that we could get it positioned and figured out exactly where we want to put those rings. So my dad drove it up on the trailer, and then we carefully positioned it exactly where we wanted over the wheelbase so that we would be able to strap it down properly in the future. He put it in neutral, and I just pushed it into place, and that was good. Next, we had to figure out where we were going to put the tie downs. So he laid it out where he thought he wanted it, and we marked where it was going to go. I then used my hole saw to drill out a hole so that the plate could rest down into, and I made that look easy. It actually was a little bit more work than what I just showed there. Once I figured out the distance, I went ahead and marked the other side so we could have a hole that matched where this hole was.
What?
Got a good track.
It is. It looks out good.
We then took the plate and put it over where it was going to go and marked where we were going to drill. Then drilled for the bolts so that they would fit through there. Now we went back and forth on how we were going to orient this, but we decided to do this one at like a 45-degree angle. Not sure if that was the best bet or not. And then we hit our first major issue. I failed to account for that beam there that the ramp slides into. So off screen, I took a grinder and cut down the tab just a little bit so that would fit in there and then mounted it. But don't worry, you'll see that process on this next one. Lined it up and went ahead and installed the plate. I got lucky on that one. I just missed the wires. Of course, I knew it was there all along. I had to fidget with the plate a little bit there, but once I got it started, it was nice and easy to get those bolts on there. Then I just went through and used my socket and went ahead and tightened the whole thing down.
That went a lot easier, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Man, I'm such a crybaby. That's just a little pain. We went up front and started working on those rings. Now, we did decide to make these straight on versus the angle, just the way they looked and how we thought they'd work out. We did decide to go ahead and split these across 2 boards, though, like you see here. Now, I've seen it done both ways. Even on the manufacturer page for these devices, I've seen it done both ways. But I like the idea of splitting the load across 2 boards, which is why I went that way. If you feel different, let me know. Now, I will say with each one of these that I did, I got a little bit more proficient at it, and each one seemed to go a little bit easier. These tie-down points should really help a lot. Perhaps surprisingly, this trailer did not come with any dedicated tie-down points. You could actually use the railing, but that's about it. So these will be a big enhancement to this trailer. And in the future, I might decide to go ahead and put some additional ones in, or maybe even a few other styles, perhaps something actually affixed to the railing. We'll see how that goes. Now, a little bit about these tie-down points. These are rated for 6,000 pounds a piece, which is fairly significant amount. The plates that go on the bottom that you see, you notice one side is longer than the other. So that's actually supposed to go toward the back of the plate, orient it to how you would actually be pulling the force against. So where in this case, the side-by-side is on the trailer, you'll be pulling toward that side-by-side, so the plate goes away from that. I will put a link to a lot of the things that you've seen here in the description. These will be Amazon affiliate links, but like I always say, go get the right item at the right price for you. And of course, my channel, Hoagie's Hobby, is dedicated to the hobbies that I pursue. That's woodworking, DIY, shop improvement, things like that. So if you like that kind of thing and you want to check out more content, go ahead and like and subscribe. I certainly appreciate that. Now these 2x8, as I mentioned, are pressure treated and they're fresh from the big box store. So we're going to let them dry out for several months. And then this time we will put some type of protected finish on it. Haven't decided what yet, but it will be something that will provide a little bit of water protection and some UV protection. If you have any recommendations, let us know. These straps are way too long for our needs, but my mom and dad cut them down, sealed the ends, and now they're perfect. Once we had everything about done, I went through and marked on the boards where the ramps needed to go so that we could place them easily for future use for this particular side-by-side. I think this trailer is going to last us a lot of years now. Of course, once those boards dry up, somebody's probably going to have to go underneath there to tighten the nuts that'll be on the bottom. And then somebody will stay up top and hold that with a wrench also. I bet I draw the short straw on that too. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. This has been another fun project, and perhaps you'll take something on. Here's a before and after pic just to remind what we were dealing with. Have a great day.